We all just walked around all week and said that. Do, 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 do. It's a little catchy tune. Just keep that in your head all week long. See what happens. It'll be awesome, I promise. All right. And now, here's Mark.
Guten Morgen.
Did you just speak in German?
Yeah, it's the only words I know. How's everybody doing? Cool. Let's take some breaths with each other. So let's take some nice deep breaths, some noise on the way out. Deep breath in. Just kind of let it float right out of your body, never forcing it. The wave doesn't force itself upon the shore. It just goes and flows. So deep breath in. And sometimes one wave may be more powerful than the next. And we have a deep breath in and a powerful exhale, but it's still never forced. So deep breath in. And it still flows. And your body is still relaxed. And it still brings us back to that center. And we did it soft. And we did it bold. And nothing in our body rattled. And everything within our creation is supposed to be simple. And literally that simple. So as we all come into this new thought world and we understand the concepts of this laws of attraction and creating our reality and metaphysics and New Age and all the titles that come with that and all the new dogma that comes with that, because there is dogma that's coming with that too, and you got to watch that because you get sucked right into that just like anything. Because as we're creating with the mind, and we're also creating with a feeling, and we're creating with a mindset. So as we come into this, sometimes we realize, what? I've been creating by default my whole life. I've been creating my experiences by everything I've thought my whole life. And we come into this new thought or this new concept or this new awareness, this new understanding, this new concept, this new idea, this new revelation. And all of a sudden we got to do it all right now. We got to get here. We got to fix it. We got to do it all right now because you're metaphysical, you're New Age, and you know you create our reality. So do it! How does that urgency feel in our bodies? And it brings anxiety, and my body doesn't feel as relaxed as it did a moment ago when we were breathing. Even when we breathed boldly and when we breathed softly, it didn't have all that angst that the urgency comes. And people will like to deliver urgency to you all the time. They will tell you all the ways the world will crumble if you do not do this thing that they said that you must do right now. And there is now, and it is about now, because all there is now. But in the wonder of this wonderful world, in our creation, we have a lovely little barrier between what we think and what we create. And it's a little default system. And it's a very gracious default system. Otherwise, there'd be some zany things happening in our life, because I've had some bizarre thoughts. And in one of the books I'm writing called Eye of the Child, which is going to come out this year, actually physically on paper or on computer, digital, and then paper, is where there's this instant will zone, and this guy takes the character through it to where every time he thinks a thought, it immediately happens. And if our life was really like that, one, how bizarre it would be, and how stressful it would be, and to understand that we do have that barrier between us and the universe, between us and that cosmic kitchen. But to understand the difference between urgency, intention, and attention, and to drop the urgency part of it, because as we have agreed in conversations before, most of us agree that there's only this precious present moment, that all there is now. So when I know all there is now, and I'm living in the now, and I'm knowing that everything I'm creating is from the now, I can let go of that urgency. Because the only true time to have urgency would be when? Now. But what cause for this mortal coil in this 3D world would give cause for us to have an urgent, really urgent moment? Bleeding. Bleeding. That's exactly the ding, ding, ding. Our number one answer says bleeding. Because all those are true. But that was the Family Feud number one answer I was looking for. Because in reality, unless you're bleeding, nothing's urgent. You know, as Becky shared with you where my brother's at, it's like he's in a place where he's moments, a day, I don't know. And I've been back and forth. And last night, urgency jumped on me all of a sudden for about a minute. And it's been with me because I've been doing this talk in my mind for a couple of weeks. And I thought I backed out so everybody else could talk. And then he started waning and waning and waning with the morphine and whatnot. And all of a sudden I had this urgent feeling of I get to say. And I'm like, wait a minute here. You're all right. You have said. His dying is not urgent. Because it's the inevitable in this moment and a plan and something. So even death sometimes isn't urgent. And had to take back a moment from that, not being morose, and go, Mark, there's truly no urgency in this moment. To realize that life is going to bring so many different ways to throw urgency on you and to thwart our own positive creation. And that doesn't mean good or bad, black or white, negative, griefless. I can have a positive creation and still have grief. I can have a positive creation and still stub my toe. But there's going to be a point when we do understand that I did think about stubbing my toe. And you're like, what? It's like, remember that cosmic kitchen I'm talking about? As we're going to be singing a song later, that we're the thinkers in our mind. But so many of the times we're thinking by default, we don't realize it. And the best way I can give this example is, okay, two people walk into the same restaurant. And the server comes out to them. And the first person, and the server's like, what would you like to eat? I don't care. Just give me whatever. I'm hungry, and it's probably going to be crappy anyway. And the server goes and just brings him whatever. And he eats it, and it's nasty. And it's crappy. And the cook sucks. Another guy comes in at the very same time to the very same restaurant, to the very same server. She goes, hi, can I help you? What would you like to eat? He goes, I don't know. I have no idea what I want, but I know everything in here is going to be great because I love mom and pop places, and I'm starving. Bring me whatever you got. So she brings him a random dish, and it's delicious, and he loves it. Same cook, same night, same grill, same server, same plates. What was the difference between the two people? Now, they didn't give the server details. The server showed up with what they showed up with. But one had a crappy experience and one had a good experience. And that's why when we're sitting here saying, but I didn't think that, Mark. I didn't think Bob was going to think crappy thoughts about me and treat me like crap. Until Bob started treating me like crap, then I started thinking about that. And he kept treating me like crap more and more and more. And it's like, and I'm going to tell you that somewhere along the line, you thought about being treated like crap, or you felt that way, and the universe filled in the details for you with Bob. And Bob had no choice in that moment in your creation but to show up that way. And we've talked about this before in different ways, because Bob could go down the road to his next moment with his next human being, and that person is treated wonderfully by Bob. They brought him or her flowers or lunch, or said, hey, man, I knew you needed coffee or wanted coffee. I brought you a cup of coffee. Bob, he's a great guy. What do you mean? So at any given point, we've got to understand the nature of our thoughts. And as we release the urgency and get back into the now, and know it's always now, but to know that there's that barrier between creation and thought, and that in between it, I can change my mind. But there's the fuel behind these thoughts that we talk about all the time in our workshops and Margie's workshops and all kinds of different modalities, that the feeling that you're walking around with is that rocket fuel amplifying every single thought you've ever thought, or your mindset, and not realizing that you had an intention and an attention even when you're in default. Because our intentions create absolutely, and our attention creates absolutely, and how we feel about what we want creates absolutely. But when I'm creating by default, I have to look back and go, wow, I did have an intention that day. That guy intended on having a crappy meal because he had a crappy attitude because he was feeling crappy. And he just let it be that cycle. And we've talked about momentum before, about the number line as far as your positive momentum, that the laws of attraction coming at you. And I'm also clarifying it or broadening it in a different way that I would like to invite people to look at it. Because sometimes in this law of attraction thing, we think it's coming at us. And I'm saying, no, man, the screen is set before you. And your mind is the projector. And at any given moment, the screen can change. It's not coming at you like from afar. All there is now. And what your changes is the complete experience that you're having in that moment. And that is a nanosecond away. Now, if you've had a lot of negative momentum built up, and you're like, oh, that urgency feeling's coming again. It's going to take forever to get built positive. Oh, wait a minute. Let's back release into that one moment, into that very new breath. Every morning we talk about breath. And I've been changing up a little bit and inviting us to surrender our breath, knowing that that moment's over. Everything that you see before me is not what I'm thinking. I mean, everything you see before you right now here is not what I'm thinking right now. It's the crap I've already thought about, good, bad, or indifferent. Everything that's manifested in my life in this current moment that you see in Mark's life or I see in yours has got nothing to do with what you're thinking right now. It's already done. It's already over. Surrender. Let it go. That's what the gift of the new breath is. As I got a lot of Pasqualinos around me right now, I have a young Pasqualino cousin that I've not gotten to see grow up, and now he's a man. And it's interesting because now I'm the uncle. I'm the older uncle. We're the elders. We're the Aunt Margarets and Uncle Pats of my life to them. And I asked him if he knew what our name meant. And some of us know the Easter part. And I said, it means Little Easter. I've explained this to the folks here before. But I told him it meant new beginnings. Little new beginnings. And every morning, now I'm Irish, every morning, either that or I need new dentures, but whatever, that we have that opportunity to start new, to have a new sunrise, to have a new beginning. That's what East represents. That's what Hawk represents. It's all different lessons throughout different cultures. The East represents a new beginning. Jesus represented that. But I'm saying that every single nanosecond that we go is that moment, is that sunrise, is that opportunity to come on and have an intention on purpose, and then to put my attention on it. Because we've been putting our attention on the things we've been creating anyway. We just didn't realize we had our attention on it. It's like I had the lovely joy of hearing Fox News play all night while I was in the hospice room with my brother. And it was like I even lowered it in the middle and then went back up when he came out of, came to for a nanosecond. All night long. Fox News. And I said it's a good thing I was never in the military with top secret stuff because I'd give them all the information the first day. Just stop, please. Because I couldn't focus. And that's exactly when they do torture people like that, why they do that. They're trying to interrupt their own mind from being able to go within and put their attention on what they know is true, even if they were trained to think a certain way to keep them sane. They're trying to interrupt and distract you. And life has all these things that are happening and doing it all the time to distract us. And it's not so much as a test to understand that you're the one who set up your own distractions, too. It's like there's no purpose that you have other than what you want to do. And sometimes there's conflict in that because we're all good little Judeo-Christian knowers. Meaning culturally, and I'm not speaking for every single one of us, but mostly in our culture, this is what we were raised with. This is what we were brought up with. So we were told to serve God. And in that, we've all come up with this different kind of purpose, whatever that may be for us, that we think we should do in our life to be holy or sacred or connected. And the universe and spirit, whatever you want to call it, is saying, how many times do I have to tell you, and how many different ways must I say? It's a free will universe. So your service is whatever you want to do. Serve yourself. As you do that, your love is going to just be so, one of the biggest factors in creating what you want is the gratitude. That's like one of the greatest steps in opening the channels to the flow of that again, to stepping back into positive without the urgency, because you know that the moment you did it, you're in the now and it's already flowing and you felt the difference. I'm sitting here, I've got coyote in my life is so wonderful. I have 9 days to find a place, put an application in, get approved, move, and clean my house. I don't know how. I don't. And I've noticed that in my vision, I've been a little distracted with all the stuff going on in my life. I just still am really dealing with Rose a lot, and her calling me and going through stuff and moving and this, and my brother, and life wants to go with all the plates spinning, to keep my eye off that right there, that peace sign, that focal point, that center of who I am, that everything that I'm about, that soul self that we talked about last week, of knowing myself, of being with myself, of creating positively, envisioning. But being human and knowing that I have these distractions, I'm willing to be silly and do whatever I need to do to get back into that positive thought. So I play with myself in public all the time. What do you mean? What are you thinking, guys? But in this moment of silliness, in this moment of being willing to be silly, you are attracting more of what you want right now, whether you consciously thought about it, because you started to giggle and feel good. And that's what I'm talking about, is being silly. Being willing to be silly with yourself in public and play with yourself in public in front of people. So I'm driving down the road going, I have to find a place. I have to find a place. Urgent, urgent, emergency. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let's get into a positive place with it. So I took my teeth out and started singing a country song about finding that perfect place to live and just being silly. And I had to look silly because I was in my head. I was stuck in my head. I had a lot going on. I had a lot of thoughts going on. I was in my head. Oh, da, 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 da. Wasn't anxious, wasn't worried, but I was in my head and wasn't feeling anything that was going to really send that thought to the universe going, he really does want to find that perfect home. Because the universe was hearing, I really don't want to leave my house because I love it, but I had to, and I sold it, and I'm willing, and I surrender, and I need to find a place to live. And the universe is like, don't want to leave your house. Got it. There you go. Oh, but I got to, though. Urgent, urgent, emergency. Uh-oh, what do I do? And that's where that trust part comes in. But it's not the trust of, I trust, oh God, I trust you. I know that you love me and that you'll find a house for me. Thank you, Lord. It's not that kind of trust. It's the trust that we know that the sun's going to come up tomorrow. It's a scientific trust. It's a knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that I just breathed in air and I'm here still. And I'm alive and I feel. It's that kind of trust. It's a knowing. It's a biblically knowing of yourself. As much as I know me, I know the sun will come up. And to know that that perfect place for me will be there. May not be what you think is the perfect place, but I have a different criteria in this moment. I really am just looking for aesthetically pleasing, clean, maybe a little bit of a view of a tree and some birds chirping in the background, so I could zen out and write this year and focus on the things that I want to create with great intention and perfect attention, and to fill the details in myself now on purpose. You know, as the Olympics have been going on, I've seen a couple different interviews, and some of the things were similar in what the kids were saying is that all of their coaches, before they did any of their events, whatever the event was, made them do it in their mind first. Over and over and over and over again. It's like I've listened to the guy Bernie from Shannon's group, which you changed the name now, but the Millionaire Mind stuff, and listen to this guy talking and listen to some of the other successful stories, and that was in the financial, but more than just financial, into their entrepreneurship, into the dreams that they had, because there's no judgment on what somebody wants to do. If you want to be a corporate conglomerate business mogul, what the hell am I to say no to that? I mean, hopefully you're in tune enough to share your wisdom, the pearls, if it comes in financial sharing or sharing. But it doesn't matter, and sometimes we get stuck in judgment of what other people have created, and we thwart our own creation because we have a judgment factor going on, and the universe is hearing that cosmic kitchen's like, you just said you didn't want that because rich people are jerks. And you don't want to be a jerk. Within us, the soul is like, I don't want to be a jerk. Ah, so I shall keep you a pauper. Okay, can we play that back? Because that's not what I meant. That's what your intention was. What do you mean? I didn't put an intention. Yes, you have, Mark. And Bob and Joe and Sally. Every single feeling you've ever had has been the rocket fuel behind it. So now we understand this, and we can take that urgency about knowing we have that buffer zone. So if I think a zebra is going to come and trample over my new car, it's probably not going to happen. But if I think it a lot, and a lot, and a lot, and then a year and a half from now, someone says, hey, you want to go to Tampa, the zoo thing there? You can drive through it. It's real fun. And I forget about that thought I thought a bazillion times a year ago. And come back and you never guess what happened. It was the most bizarre thing you could ever think of. Because some of the things that happen in our life are so bizarre, you're like, wow, I couldn't even have thought that one. That's a pretty good one. Sometimes I got to give the universe credit for some of the things that's good. I'm a writer, and I didn't even think of that one. Or did I? Because we do have bizarre thoughts. We have them all. We have crazy, we have beautiful, we have wondrous and benevolent, loving thoughts. I'd like to see them fry. We have those thoughts too, and all of them happen. Boy, there's a good bonus accolade or whatever you call it, a point on the plus side for not having instantaneous thought. It's like just me on the highway seeing, oh man, that bonehead, what's the next thought? Most of the time I've wished they just got pulled over because, that'll serve them. Then you'll know, be taught the lesson that they have intruded upon the other drivers upon the highway and they deserve to be pulled over. And sometimes that's true in that universal law thing. It's like, hey, you got to blend in and harmonize with people. But every single thought that I have can create my experience to where every single bonehead on the highway could be a mile in front or a mile in back. And my stretch of the highway is just sunny and calm all the time. Like we watched the movie Defending Your Life last week, and it was like taking place in that way station between heaven and stuff. But the temperature was always 74 degrees. Sunny and calm all the time. You could eat whatever you want, never gained a pound. Never felt full. It's just like that blissful place. Well, believe it or not, you could actually create that experience. Because so many times I've walked into a room and said, it's hot! And someone was shivering. Are they crazy or am I? Or just we have two different experiences. We're just two different thermal bio units. Their experience was they were chilly. My experience is I was hot. What happens when the two walk in the room and go, no, you're not. No, it's not. It's not hot. It's cold. No, it's not. I'm sweating. You see it? Look, there's evidence. Show me evidence of your cold. There's a goosebump. Oh, okay, you win. So we can be in the same exact place in this 3D world and time and have a completely different experience. Matter of fact, we are 7.5 billion different ones. And as you all intertwine in each other's lives, or paths cross, thoughts cross, group causes cross, blah, blah, blah. Group causes cross. So you three are in a group. You're separate three creators, but now you're in a group creating a new thing. So they have to put an intention and a focus and planning and a little bit of a vision on what they want to create as a group, because there's 3 different creators here. If the one says, we are going straight. The other says, we are going left. The other says, we are going right. Check out the harmonies coming out on their next session. And whatever that harmony looks like. So that's where you have to talk and vision and sometimes get on the same page and redefine things with each other, so that as you're creating deliberately on purpose, filling in the details with your intention and your intention, everybody knows what everybody means, and now that creation of 3 becomes exponentially greater than what they thought 3 coming together to create could have ever been. When I'm by myself, I'm the only thinker in my mind. What I have to do is make sure that I remember that, so when you come by and go, well, I think you should drop my little should bomb on me, and you walk by and you're done, you're all happy and fluffy in your life, but you just dropped a little shit bomb on somebody. It might have been tiny, but they heard it echoing. You should this or that, and then their thoughts start thinking about that instead of what they were intending to do, and they got thrown off. It's like, well, wait a minute. You live in your body, they live in their body. You have your creation, they have their creation. So the moment I bought into that, what somebody else is doing in their creation, and thought I should do it in mine, I started thwarting mine again. I started creating by default again. I started losing my own attention on what it was I was creating. My focal point. What was my intention in the first place? Was it to be like Bob or to be like me? Oh, I wanted to be like me. Refocus. And it never has to be urgent. It never has to come with any sense of, I'm bleeding, I'm going to die if I don't think a new thought. Even though it feels that way sometimes. And then if your thoughts are so heavy within yourself, so morose in your body, so to the depth in your soul that you feel like you cannot function, man, that's the time to come see people like Scott and I for workshops, or anybody else, because it's not a commercial. Even though our next one is October, just later near you. I can't talk that fast. But my point is, I don't care who it is. I'll never do another workshop again. Go get help. Go find someone who can do it for you, who can lead you within yourself, to help you understand, to let go of these thoughts. Remember what we talked about at the beginning here with the breath. I'm surrendering it back to God. Now, you can change what you want God to mean, or you can hold it as that father figurehead that you must obey, and he will reward you with love. Or you can take that word obey, shift that God Father to that energetic part that you're all connected to, and realize that the word obey still factors in, because you must be obedient to natural law. Gravity works. I'm hanging out on a planet today. If I go to the end of the cliff, I'm going to stand back because I'm obeying gravity. And I would like to obey it on this side of the cliff. And it's that simple. So it's not about obedience. That's why when, we talk about some of the masters like Jesus or Buddha, when they're talking about thought creates, absolutely. Jesus did it in his way, Buddha in his way, Krishna in his way, Osiris in his way. All the beautiful women mystics of time did it in their way. Mary Magdalene in her way. All the people we know now in their way. Leading to that truth within, to listen and understand that thoughts create absolutely. And as they taught this, they said, you must be obedient to these facts. Not worship me. That's what we did in our silliness, our silly humanness. Wow, you really got it. Oh, man, this guy levitated. Oh, and the guys over there are going, okay, I'm trying to teach you how to levitate, not how to bow down to me. Marianne Williamson said it in a different way in her piece when it says, no great feat to dim your light because somebody else is too shy to shine their own. He wasn't dimming his light. None of those masters were going to dim their light. They're shining it as bright as they could to show people how to shine their lights as bright as they could. Whatever metaphor you want to put in there. To show them that you are creating this experience 100% absolutely, that this world has got nothing to do, that the kingdom is within. And in that kingdom, you reign. You reign. You know, it's like you look at, if you guys have ever seen the movie The Secret or What the Bleep Do We Know and stuff, they're saying everything I'm saying. They said, when I watched the movie, I was so happy because it was like, see, my little kid, told you. And it never meant to come off arrogant or pompous, even though I think it has sometimes, and I didn't mean it to, because it's really my little kid all excited about all this crap he knew or was experiencing or was being revealed to. But in The Secret, one of the things that it's talking about is all the different people, Winston Churchill, Albert Einstein, all these different historical figures that knew these secrets and that knew the power of thought creating absolutely. And we know that some of the powers that be didn't want the people to know that, because then you would create absolutely and you wouldn't obey natural law, you'd obey them. Or you wouldn't obey them, you'd obey natural law, and they wanted you to obey them. So it's about understanding that you are the king in the kingdom. You're the one who reigns. One of the things in The Secret and in the folklore of this, another way that it's been taught was the story of Genie, of Aladdin and the magic lamp. And it's a whole representation of the human condition and the power that the universe has. And the key word, every time he rubbed the lamp, the genie came out, said, "Your wish is my command." But we've been taught in our Christian society that that's blasphemous to think that we could ever command God to give us anything. But it's been said culturally over and over and over again, and even our own brother in our Judeo-Christian society, before it was Christian, just the Christ, said it. He said it over and over again, over and over again. But take them all away. Sometimes we have to discard certain dogmas, words, or stories for a while to get the charge off of them so that we can put our attention to something else. So start beckoning the universe as if you're rubbing a magic lamp. And hear the words, "Your wish is my command." Lovingly. I'm here to serve you. I want to give you exactly what you want. Your wish is my command. Now let's take all the bass and echo out of it. Your wish is my command. What do you want? Sure. Gotcha. Got you covered. I'll do that for you. I like a salami sandwich on rye with a pickle. Sure. There you go. You asked me for exactly what you want. You knew it was going to be good. You were grateful for it as soon as you put it out there. And it came back, you took a bite, and it was the best salami sandwich and kosher pickle you've ever had in your life. And then when you were done, you let it go. You didn't carry the pickle and salami sandwich with you forever. We were talking about that last night. It's all been one long day with my cousins and just, some of the people that Nick has seen from the ripples of his life. College buddies, high school buddies. Talking about yesteryear. I said, yeah, Bruce Springsteen made a song about that. It's called Glory Days. In a wink of a young girl's eye. That song. That we don't allow a new moment of creation to come in because we're so stuck in, well, there was this one time where I created an awesome reality. And I'm going to tell you about that over and over and over again because I'm denying myself from creating anything new because somewhere along I forgot and I got afraid that it'll never be that good again. So let me just focus on this one and tell you this all the time forever. And then you disallow that new moment. You disallow that new creation because now your intention is on the past. So as you realize that, understand that you're now creating, on purpose, in your own world, a recreation of everything that's ever happened to you, and it's like putting your tape when we had auto reverse in our cassette tape. That's all you do. And it may be different. Oh, look, a different story. Hey, there's a Bob and Jerry. Okay. Oh, crap. It's the same storyline. And then you think, oh, a new story, Sally and Jane, and crap, it's the same storyline again. There's some good things. See, I created that good moment. There's a lot of crap after that. It's kind of getting boring. It's all the same. Then you start feeling negative. And then you notice, like, wow, the story did start changing to a crappy story. What happened? We get stuck in our own mundaneness of what was so wonderful yesterday, and then all of a sudden we start feeling yucky, and And we didn't realize that we started creating a crappy now because we got stuck in that one moment that was so wonderful, whatever yesteryear was. And you got stuck there and it started creating negative reverse. All there is now, but look at the journey you just took in your mind in time and what happened in this moment to your body. And we've all done it. And you can dissect it and look at it or just surrender to it and go, okay, I truly am going to surrender every single breath. It's done. It's over. Give it back to God. Give it back to the universe. Give it back to my bee brothers and sisters that like the carbon dioxide in my breath and all the things in this universe that are going to live. Because I exhaled what was dead in me. That's our death breath. It's done. Gone. Over. Ended. No more use for me in that moment. The end. Owl. Bat. All at the same time. And bringing all kinds of cultures in. And the next one is everything that we've been talking about all at the same time, brand new. A sunrise, new molecules, brand new energy, photonic energy, eagle, hawk, a new beginning, a baby being born, a new idea. All of it in that every single time we do it. And if we can focus on that and know that and surrender the last one and welcome the new one as if it was the biggest gift we ever got. Holy moly, man. Now that urgency just drops away. We don't even have to do anything with it. It's like urgent. Okay, whatever. Comes like that sloth. You're just hanging around. No urgency. Got plenty of food. Gonna be here for 100 years. And they just hang out. And boy, I bet they get to enjoy everything around them. Have you ever seen something and like lived somewhere for a while? And then one day somebody else was driving and you're like, I didn't know that was there. Well, that's pretty. And you had missed this whole experience because you've been paying attention to other things, and one day you just surrendered, let someone else drive for a moment, or you just slowed down a little bit and noticed the beauty around you. So that's the invitation I have for us all. Let go of that urgency. Realize that these thoughts do create wonderfully, absolutely all the time the experience we want, and we can just simply allow it to happen. Allow it to be who we are, be a part of us. No judging who you are and how it shows up in you. No expectations of what your free will looks like, because I don't know what it looks like. I'm still discovering my own. And to just breathe into my attention, my intention, and the love. Ahoma Takuyasin. Thank you.
Changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the
All right, let's move the circle down that direction.